up, cats and kittens, and shout out to all my cerebral lights. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and she is back with another episode of Reality, and that's T-E-A, because I give it to you scalding hot. So grab your cups, grab your saucers, gather around, and let's all partake in this libation of Tokyo Toni Finding Love. Have you guys heard of the show? Let me issue this disclaimer, right? I have not seen the first episode of this show. I don't know that I'll be seeing the actual show. I don't have the Zeus network, but that's never stopped me from watching anything. I just don't know if I want to put support behind the show. And maybe I'm wrong for prejudging the show without actually seeing it. But based on the clips, it just looks a hot ghetto mess. And I don't necessarily want to give viewership to that, because I don't want television executives thinking that this is what we want to see, because this is antithetical to what I want to see. It's entertaining, I'm not going to lie. I would be completely misleading you and being dishonest if I told you that based on the clips I am not driven to want to watch this show, because the clips look amazing in the worst possible. It's a train wreck. It's literally watching a train wreck. So Tokyo Toni was recently on Blac Chyna's show on the Zeus network, same network, and the two of them had some clips that went pretty viral of them being in this contentious relationship, to put it mildly. The two of them were at odds, basically on the verge of coming to blows, and because of that, I think the producers saw a opportunity and they decided to put Tokyo Toni on TV. Dear God. Tokyo Toni reminds me a lot. Tokyo Toni and Blac Chyna both remind me of the relationship between Keisha Cole and Frankie. The only difference being Tokyo Toni doesn't have issues with substance abuse. I think she smokes marijuana, but she still seems to be lucid. So, do what you do. So I've been watching some clips recently of Tokyo Toni's show. And Tokyo Toni's been on this little press junket. She's been on several radio and television outlets promoting the show. And most recently, she was on The Real. So after her appearance on The Real received a real backlash from fans who felt like Tokyo Toni's brand was incongruent with the Real brand of promoting positivity amongst women. And because of that, people complained and just felt like, why would you have a person like this on the show? Lonnie Love came on the show a couple days later to defend it, to say that everyone deserves a platform, including Tokyo Toni, which I agreed to a point. So after that, Tokyo Toni then went on this huge rant where she was calling out Blac Chyna for not promoting her show on her Instagram. She calls Blac Chyna fake. She calls her body fake. She calls Blac Chyna phony, says she's never done anything for her. You just have a bunch of people around you who are actually scared to speak up, but not me. I'm the OG. You get your looks from me. Everything that you are stems from me. Without me, there's no you, is basically the point that she was trying to make. And there is some truth. I think she says the chicken came before the egg. I don't know what she said. But anyway, she goes on this huge diatribe about, basically feeling slighted by Chyna. And it's just like the dysfunction is so real, and it's so sad to watch, because what you realize when you watch a Blac Chyna and you watch Tokyo Toni individually, the problem is they are the same person. They are the same person. I'm sure you guys have heard the saying before: hurt people hurt people. When I look at Tokyo Toni, I see a woman who does not know how to be vulnerable. I see a woman who's afraid to say I'm hurting. I see a woman who's afraid to say, I need you. And when I look at Chyna, I see the same thing. So instead of conveying emotion and talking about how they feel, what they do is they press buttons. Because it's easier to fight than it is to open up and show someone how you really feel, because you feel if you give them access to the softest parts of you, then somehow they'll be able to turn that against you and hurt you even more. But if you can't trust your mother and you can't trust your daughter, if you can't be vulnerable in that relationship, I don't know where in the world you can be vulnerable. So it's really sad to watch the level of dysfunction that exists. Now, Tokyo Toni strikes me as someone who's been both physically and sexually abused. In fact, I think that she's made mention. And the same thing, in my opinion, is true of Blac Chyna. If not sexually or physically abused, certainly sexually exploited. I think a lot of her defense mechanism stems from the way she's been treated by men and been objectified, and that's why she responds the way that she responds. But ultimately, at some point, someone's going to have to make a choice to make a different choice. Do I want to be right or do I want to be well? That's really what it comes down to in most arguments. You have to make a choice to be right or to be well. And until one of them has the presence of mind to say, I put well above being right, this relationship will continue to manifest itself in the way it has. There was something else that I wanted to mention. I think I talked about Keisha Cole and Frankie and how they remind me of Keisha Cole and Frankie. Tokyo Toni. So during this press junket, one of the things I found really interesting about Tokyo Toni, I have this, I'll be honest with you, I have this love-hate relationship with Tokyo Toni. Because when I watch her, I think that she is a really intelligent woman. Maybe not intelligent in terms of being scholastic, but certainly educated in terms of the school of hard knocks and life experience. There's a lot of wisdom there that I see when I listen to her and some of the things that come out of her mouth. So during a recent interview with, I want to say it was the Ricky Smiley show in Head Crack, she was talking about being open to everyone. She dates men, she dates women, she's open to dating a bisexual man. I was like, wow, that's really progressive. That blew my mind that she would even say something like that, because to be perfectly honest with you, we saw what happened with Tank a few weeks ago. We saw what happened with Malik Yoba a few months ago. So we know that for the most part, when women hear that a man might be attracted to other men, it is a deal breaker. But on the flip side of that, when men hear that women might be attracted to other women, it is a deal maker. So I thought it was really progressive of Toni to say that, and I think that it takes a certain level of intelligence to be able to not limit yourself in who you're attracted to just solely based on what you've been taught or patriarchal standards. So anyhow, I don't know if you'll be watching Tokyo Toni's show. I might be taking sneak peeks behind the scenes. Don't judge me. Please don't judge me. I don't judge you. But yeah, this show is something else. I hope that at some point Blac Chyna and Tokyo can find some level of coexistence. I don't think that they'll ever be best friends. I hope that they find some level of peace before it's too late, because when you see the relationship that they had, can you imagine the argument that they had on Blac Chyna's show being the last conversation you ever had with your mother? At the end of the day, we don't get to choose our mothers, and mothers don't necessarily get to choose their daughters, I guess, unless you're doing vitro. But even then, you don't know the personality that you're choosing. So, it's a lottery in terms of what you get, and you have to make the most of what you get. And if someone is being abusive to you, if someone is not good for your energy, your mental health, your mental wellness, then I definitely am a proponent for ending those relationships and cutting off those relationships. And not necessarily just a hard line cut, but just maintaining a level of connection where you know that this person is okay, you know that this person is alive, and not necessarily foregoing any connection. But if it's that toxic that you feel like you have to do that, I can definitely understand that too. For me, when it comes to this relationship between Blac Chyna and Toni, I really put the onus on Toni, being that she is the mother. I think that Toni, so if anyone's jealous in this equation, I think that it might be Toni being jealous of Blac Chyna. I think that when Toni looks at Blac Chyna, she sees everything that she wanted manifesting in her daughter, and not manifesting, and have manifested in her. And so because of that, there's a certain level of envy attached to that, because she feels like, why didn't that happen for me? And I also think that Blac Chyna should be less critical of Toni because, you know, while Blac Chyna's children are really little, they will not be little always. They're gonna grow up. They're gonna see videos on the internet of her doing the things that she's done. I don't necessarily have to tell you guys some of the things that she's done, and then they're gonna begin to judge her. So I think that she should also be a little bit more understanding to some of the choices that her mom has made. I think for most of us who grew up in the 90s, 80s, we grew up seeing the Huxtables and we grew up wanting Claire Huxtable as our mom. But unfortunately, sometimes you don't get Claire Huxtable, you get Tokyo Toni. And yeah, you have to make the most of it. Anyway, curious to know what you guys think. So make sure you comment below, like, comment, subscribe, and share if you care. As always, in closing, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva. Gotta get ready for work. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day. Be safe.